Well, the crypto market's starting this week off in the red, with most cryptos down anywhere from 5 to 15% just in the last 12 hours. Matter of fact, if we actually go look at CoinMarketCap, you can see what happened Sunday night. I mean, Granny got kicked smooth down the stairs with Bitcoin and ETH and XRP and Solana and Doge and many more just absolutely nuking on Sunday night, dropping the rest of the market down with it. And with this in mind, I wanted to make a quick video for you all today talking about this pullback specifically, why I think it's happening, what I'm doing during this pullback, and exactly what I'm expecting next. So we have a good bit to get into today. But before we do, guys, I want to remind you, if you are trading during this pullback, anything in the top 100, top 200, you can check out the link down below to BTCC, and you're going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses and lower trading fees if you sign up, deposit, and start trading today on BTCC using my affiliate link, which is in the description down below. That's a great opportunity, and I do think there will be some fantastic trade opportunities coming up in this pullback, so feel free to check that out if it does interest you. But now, let's kind of start dissecting this, looking at this market, talking about what's going on. So many of you are wondering, and I think the big question that a lot of you have is, why is the market pulling back? So let's start there. Why is the market pulling back? And my honest opinion is that this is nothing more than just a post-catalyst reset that's being fueled by manipulation, which I'll explain in a second here. There wasn't any big news. There wasn't any big event. There wasn't anything super scary. There's really no main thing you can point at and say that's the reason why market's pulling back. Like if Trump came out and said crypto's bad, market pullback. There's not that going on. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to find that. But from a fundamental and technical perspective, I do think there are some pretty clear reasons as to why crypto's pulling back, and that's what I want to break down for you. So historically speaking, you're going to see after catalyst, right? Let me just tell you what's going on here. After a big catalyst moves, like let's say the halving, like a Bitcoin halving, okay? Leading up to that catalyst, you're going to see a lot of excitement, a lot of volatility, a lot of volume, a lot of sentiment. People are looking up crypto. They're talking about crypto. They're thinking about crypto. They're watching crypto YouTube videos. They kind of just overconsume. They get gluttonous for crypto, right? It's just a huge overconsumption of crypto by everyone because there's that big thing that's happening that everyone's excited about. But what we've come to recognize is that when that big thing happens, it is very common for the crypto market to either go sideways or fall after it happens, whether it's good or bad. It doesn't even matter. It's normal for crypto to fall for the short term, 1 to 2 weeks, after that big thing happens. Now, the market has keyed this and kind of termed this as being called a buy the rumor, sell the news event, which feel free to go ahead and call it that if you want. This is nothing new. I'm not telling you anything new. I'm just breaking down why it happens, okay? And I believe what we're in right now is just a simple buy the rumor, sell the news event. We had the interest rate cuts last week. Everyone knew that these interest rate cuts were coming. There was like a 90+% chance that they were coming. We saw the market rallying in advance of those interest rate cuts over the last few weeks. Everyone says that it was just like a week rally. No, it was like months of rally. Bitcoin was at $125,000 based off the narrative that interest rate cuts were on the way. So this wasn't a short-term pump. This was a very long-term pump that got us all the way up to $125,000, right? And then the market started to kind of cool down, rallied again, leading into last week in which we saw interest rate cuts. And now that interest rate cuts have happened, people are pulling back a little bit. All the gluttony for crypto that there was in the market is kind of satiated in some capacity. People are just like, okay, gosh, let me just take a break from crypto. I've been looking forward to this day, looking forward to this moment for so long. I've been watching crypto and YouTube and over-consuming Twitter about crypto all day. I'm going to take a bit of a break. I want to go focus on something else. And it makes a lot of sense. There's not like the next big thing right now. There's no next big piece of news that everyone's talking about. There's not kind of the next big event that's getting a lot of people excited. So people are really just taking breaks. And it's the reason why you're going to see volumes to fall off. You're going to start to see sentiment fall off. You're going to see oftentimes prices pull back and cool down because people are taking profits as a result of them pulling back, right? And you're going to see these moments where the market pulls back and cools down after a moment like last week. So what we're seeing right now is just that. It's a cool down. It's a reset here in the crypto market, and it's not a big deal. And that's like the main premise that I wanted to make in today's video was that what we're seeing is not a big deal. It's normal. It's natural. And matter of fact, it is something that we expected here on the channel. Matter of fact, if you go look at the channel, you can go check this. Go fact check me. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. 2 days ago, while I was in a hotel room, I made a video that said, I just sold some cryptos and here's why. And I told you, listen, This market is manipulated. The market did a good job. It rallied. Bitcoin gave us a little bit of gains over the last couple of days. BNB, SWE, some of those other ones gave us some decent gains over the last couple of days. But knowing how manipulated this market can be, knowing how out of the drop of a dime it might all start falling, and knowing how we see these buy the rumor, sell the news events happen, we actually went in and we sold some crypto. We sold some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some BNB. We sold some SWE. And well, I mean, what happened? The market pulled back right after that while we were seeing that, of course, happen. Now, funnily enough, one thing I did notice that I wanted to say I thought was funny. What we can see here is Ray said if Tyler sells, then the market dumps 100% of the time. Ray, I blame you. Like, I think you jinxed us. I don't think me selling causes market to pull back. I think you saying this is what caused the market to pull back. So everyone hashtag blame Ray down below. But nah, you guys get the point though, right? We figured so. It's just a normal thing. And the reason I wanted to show you the fact that we talked about this was just to go show you, like, no, not that I knew what was going to happen, but more to tell you that what we're seeing right now is so normal that we kind of figured it might happen. And it's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay. And so with that in mind, that's why the market's pulling back. The market is resetting after a huge catalytic period. And all it's going to do is just reset, cool down, pull back a little bit, and then try to find that new base and continue on from there. I think this is short-term to midterm. I do not think this is a long-term pullback. And I even said that in a Discord last night. I said the market is pulling back tonight, but it's nothing scary. Things usually get a little ugly boring in the short term after big events like we saw last week. I'm just going to rotate some small cash at key support levels and wait. I don't think this is a super long-term dump, short to midterm at most. And that's it, okay? Now, from a technical perspective, we can also see this playing out. And I'm not going to harp on the technicals too long today. I'm going to focus probably tomorrow's video on the technical side. But you can see this reset that I'm telling you about applying to all the charts. So let me just rapid fire it. But again, I'm going to save the technicals more for like tomorrow. So what we can see is that, yes, the reset that I'm talking about here for the market is also being shown on the charts. For example, Bitcoin's price was in this descending channel, broke out of it, ran into a massive level of resistance and pulled back. It's now resetting. It's trying to come back down and find some help, find some support, use that support to try to break above this resistance level. Bitcoin just needed some help trying to break this zone, and that's what it's doing right now. It's going to find that help that it'll then, in my opinion, try to use to reapproach this zone at some point, okay? And so this is just a normal reset for Bitcoin. When it comes to Ethereum was in a very unsustainable climb upwards. It was in an ascending channel. I've told you guys a million times. These ascending channels are dangerous. They cause pullbacks a lot. And so what is ETH doing? It's now broken out of the channel, coming back down, resetting to try to create a more macro, long-term sustainable structure. Very good. This is a good thing. This is not maintainable. This is maintainable. Very good. That's actually good for ETH. Solana was trying to stay on top of a massive ascending triangle. I thought it might, but I told you it'll be hard. So what is Solana doing right now? Well, it wouldn't shock me if Solana's price comes back down and maybe even loses support out of this thing to create a more macro sustainable structure, something that is more easy to maintain than this. That is a good thing. XRP's price tried to break out to the upside of this descending triangle and tried to absolutely rally. Was unable to. Ran into resistance. Came back down. Trying to find some support. Resetting on these previous points of resistance and support levels, trying to find some liquidity to use that liquidity to create a more sustainable move upwards. That's a good thing. So again, I'm going to show you all this stuff later on, like probably tomorrow, but you get the point. The market is simply just resetting after a big event. That's all it's doing. So stop freaking out. There's no need to freak out. So with this in mind, what am I doing now? I think that's what a lot of people want to know. What am I doing now? Well, I'm actually going to go in today and rotate a little bit. Not a lot. Let me make this very clear. Not a lot, but a little bit of the profit that we just took off the table back in the market. As you all know, I practice an investment strategy called dynamic holding, okay, where it's basically long-term holding, but a little bit more dynamic that comes with some extra moves, and I'll probably make a video about this one day. But my game plan, my strategy always says that if I time profit taking very well, which is what we did, right? I mean, go look at what happened with Bitcoin. Let me go show you this. Like, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin rallied straight up to $117.7 thousand, right at the bottom side of that golden zone. I told people that I was closing down some of my Bitcoin bag, and right afterwards, Bitcoin's price started falling. We timed this very well. I'm not saying on purpose. I'm just saying we did. But my strategy says that whenever I can time some profit taking just like that, and the market rallies starts to pull back and get rejected off my take profit levels, and it starts to really hard send it back down, for example, and Bitcoin's 4-hour RSI is super oversold, that I'm going to rotate a little bit of that cash that I took back into the market. Because what was I able to do? I was able to sell high, and now I can use some of that I sold to buy low. That's the game. Buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, over and over and over again. It's dynamic holding, okay? And so because of that, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not doing a lot right now, but I am gonna start to already implement some of my re-rotations of my cash that I took. I sold a little bit up here, a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit BNB Sui. This was, a decent amount. Okay. And I'm going to take some of that cash, 10% of what I took, and start rotating it back in and do some small buys on Bitcoin, small buys on ETH, small buys on Solana, on XRP, and many more. Now, I am going to focus the majority of that cash on my big bags, which are my Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP. Okay. Mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum, a little bit of Solana and XRP, and tiny amounts of my other ones like Sui, XLM, or whatever. But I am going to do it. Because what we can see is that our 4-hour RSIs are now really overextended. On Ethereum, overextended. Solana, overextended. XRP, overextended. Sui, overextended. And you guys know my strategy. I love dollar cost averaging when the 4-hour RSI is overextended to the downside, because we usually will start to see the bull step in there, right? It's like what triggers them for some reason. And so that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go in. I'm going to buy a little bit. And that's it. We took profits off the table. We locked in some beautiful profits. I mean, look at Sui, dude. Look what happened with Sui. Did I post a picture in here? Yeah. Sui is now officially in the overbought zone on the 4-hour. Going to pull the trigger and take more profit. I closed 1.5% of my total bag of Sui whenever it was right up there. I mean, it's crazy. Also 3.5% right there. So we closed down 5% of our entire Sui bag. I mean, the bag was up, almost $20,000. So we closed down a decent amount of profit. And now all the profit that we had from when we took profit, we can go in and just throw some of it back in and buy Sui cheaper. So I get cheaper Sui and I get some cash. That's a great combination. And this is the game you want to play. And this is why I practice dynamic holding. It's because I'm capable of going in and I can buy when things are low and I can sell when things are high, and I can repeat this over and over again to compound gains over time. That's the game I like to play. And so just to kind of summarize everything I've said in today's video before I go let my voice rest a little bit, because your boy still has a vocal cord infection, which is so annoying, is that I'm going to go in. I'm going to do a little bit of small dollar cost averaging, because what we are seeing right now is nothing more than a typical reset that happens after a huge catalyst period like we saw last week. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. And what we're seeing right now could easily create that opportunity for the market in the future to create more long-term and sustainable gains upwards that allow us to capitalize on them more consistently. So I'm not freaking out about it. I'm not worried. I'm not even panicked. And as I mentioned before, we kind of had a thought that this might happen. So I'll keep you updated as all this plays out. But what I will let you know is that going forward throughout the rest of this week, while this is playing out, if you want to go follow me on Instagram and go over to the Reels tab, every single day I'm posting updates on Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, ETH, Doge, Caspa, and many more. So if you want to stay even more updated, not only do I want you to subscribe to the channel, but go follow me on Instagram. It's called The Life of Tyler Hill. You'll see some personal stuff about me and my professional fighting and all that stuff, and then some daily analysis over on the Reels tab. So feel free to check that out. Don't forget that if you are trading some crypto, you can go get up to $10,000 in bonuses over on BTCC. And last but not least, just stay calm. What we're seeing right now is not a big deal. It's not that scary, and I'll guide you through it as it goes on. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.